Hello, welcome to episode 157 on the Online Trainers Podcast. Today's topic is Rich Trainer, Poor Trainer.
Hello and welcome to the Online Trainers Podcast, where we go behind the scenes to uncover the latest tactics and strategies top trainers around the world are using to get more clients, dominate their marketplace, and get their clients amazing results. There is absolutely no fluff here. I'm your host, Lynn Trin.
Now, I don't know if you guys have read or listened to the audio book Rich Dad, Poor Dad, but I think me and Kerry listened to it a few months back, and it was an amazing book. It was a complete eye-opener on how to build wealth, but how the smart and most successful people build wealth. And for a long time when I was a trainer, I thought that I was going to be wealthy because I was like, yes, I'm not an employee. I'm not working 9 to 5. I don't have a job. And yet the reality was, I did have a job because I was working inside of my own business. And so what Rich Dad, Poor Dad allowed me to see was that it allowed me to see that wealth, there's two ways to make money, right? There's one way, which is trading time for money, and that is responsible for 5% of the wealth that goes around the world, according to his statistics. And that's fair enough, because everybody here has a limited amount of time. Everybody here has 24 hours in a day. And if you're trading time for money, there's only so much money you can make, right? And that made sense. And so for me, the eye-opener was when I realized that, hey, my income is capped because I've only got 24 hours in a day. Okay. And the only way I can make more money, right, is if I charge more and if I train more. And unfortunately, inside of the fitness space, there's only so much you can charge for a personal training session until it becomes quite ridiculous, right? There's no way you can charge $1,000 for a training session unless you're training the Prince of Persia. But regardless, anyway, what that allowed me to see was that 95% of wealth is built on investing, and that's cool, but I don't know about you, but I don't know too much about investing. And the other percentage, the 95% of wealth, is also built on owning a system. Now, this is where it gets interesting, because when I talk to a lot of coaches and online personal trainers who want to build a business online, they don't own a system. And what I mean by that is, when I first started coaching clients online, I would do exactly what I was doing offline. So if I had a client one-to-one, offline, I'd train them for 45 minutes. I would have that same model online. I'd take a client online, I'd write their diet, I'd write their training program, we'd catch up on Skype, I'd give them access to me on Facebook and email, right? And that's still trading time for money. But what I realized, and when I thought about taking this business model online, I thought, holy crap, I can train anybody around the world. Right. And so I was quite disillusioned to believe the fact that I could scale my business and grow it and do everything, right? But I was still trapped because I was trading time for money. And I hope you guys get this. And what I started and needed to think about was building out a system that could get my clients results without actually using my time. And this was a very hard concept for me to grasp, because as a trainer, if you don't give them your time, you don't get paid. Like, that's what we're conditioned to think. Yet in reality, as soon as I stepped out from being inside of my business to being a business owner, that is owning a system that gets people results, okay, building out your own online transformation course and having the systems in place. And your systems can be, your course, your community, a community manager, another coach that you hire, and you need to make sure that there are step-by-step indoctrination sequences. There are step-by-step follow-up sequences that you build out that you do not particularly have to run, right? Because now when you have a system that gets people results, that's what they're buying. They're buying the result. They're not actually buying time with you. They're buying the environment to be around you. They're buying you and your message and your environment, but they're not actually buying time with you. Okay, you do not want to be selling your time. You want to try to scale and leverage as much as possible. And for me, this was the hardest thing to get my head around, because a lot of the times, if I didn't train clients, I wouldn't get paid. That's what I thought, right? And the concept of how do I get these people results without being there or spending time on the phone with them, that was just, I don't know, it just didn't seem possible to me. I didn't know how, but I'm sure, as you already know, like Tony Robbins says, the quality of your life depends on the quality of questions you ask, right? And so the quality of my business was dependent on the qualities of the questions that I was willing to ask inside of my business. And so the question I began to ask was, how do I get these people amazing results? How do I get my clients amazing results without having to spend time with them over the phone without having to give up as much time as I was? How do I get them amazing results and cut my time by 90%? Now, I know that sounds really lazy, but at the end of the day, it sounds amazingly smart to me as well. Like, what if I could get my clients better results than I was currently getting them and save 90% of my time? Isn't that a smarter, more efficient question? And, I know, and I talk about this concept a lot, and a lot of trainers feel as though it's lazy or they're not allowed to do that. And I'm like, well, but you're getting them better results, okay, and you're saving time. So what is the disconnect? And it's just this one big barrier that I seem to have to overcome. Not only did I have to overcome that myself because the possibility seemed impossible, but most trainers don't think that way. And by limiting your thoughts that way, what happens is you peg yourself into a corner and you're stuck. And the reasons why I want to bring this up to you today is because when you have your fulfillment systems and you have the ability to build a system that gets people results and you continue to improve that, and here's the reality, guys, you don't just build your system once, you go back and improve the systems and improve the systems and improve the systems, right? We don't just build a car and then 50 years later we have the same car. We build upon what we have. And so it's transitioning to saying, okay, right, I'm actually going to build a fulfillment system that gets people results, because I know that once I build this asset, then it's going to save my time. And so once you have this asset, you have to start thinking, okay, how do I get these clients results? What are the emails that they need to receive? Okay, what are the touch points that they need to have? What do they need to know? What about the accountability and checking up on them? What's the type of identity that I'm going to give this new client when they come in my onboarding process? And once you understand this, then you're going to start thinking like the 5% of people that Robert Kiyosaki talks about, to stepping up to owning a system, and that's when you can have true wealth. That's when the game will change for you. And I'm sure that if you're listening to this podcast, you're not listening because you just want to get more clients. You really want to impact the world. You want to be financially free, and you want to have more time to do what you want, where you want, and when you want. So understanding this concept is absolutely crucial to the keys to your success. So my question for the day is, guys, that are listening to this podcast, are you really truly building assets and fulfillment systems? Are you really truly building a business, or are you working inside of your business right now? Because if you aren't, the question I need to ask for you is, why not? What's stopping you right now? And so that is the question I want you to answer, because if you can answer this question, it's the quality of this question that's going to change the game inside of your business. It's going to change the game for your life, and ultimately it's going to change the game for the clients that you're able to help. Have a fantastic day, and I'll see you on the next podcast episode.
Alright, if you enjoyed this podcast, please leave me a 5-star review on iTunes, and feel free to leave a review, and that way I can respond and I can take that on board in developing content to serve you. Now, if you're not a part of the Online Trainers Club on Facebook, please do yourself a favor and be a part of the conversation. That's where I add daily tips, tricks and strategies on how you can build out funnels, how you can get more clients, and ultimately become a better online coach. Thank you for listening.